The Terra leak happened nearly 2 years ago, and it's a treasure trove of Pokemon content, lore, and scrapped Pokemon designs. Some of them are cute, some of them are creepy, and some of them are downright weird. But what if these Pokemon made it into the final games, and evolved? Hi, I'm Jake, and I've been drawing Pokemon since I was 7 years old. Recently I've been obsessed at looking at videos of the old and scrapped beta Pokemon, and I've picked 5 of my favourite from Gen 3 to evolve in today's video. At the time of recording this video, even more Pokemon leaked for Generation 4, so I think I'll be doing this again. If you like the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. The first sprite that I picked to evolve was Snowora, which I thought was a really cool concept, pun intended. It's a polar bear with an aurora-like pattern, but sadly there isn't much information about it online, except it's got a front and a back sprite, not even a type. Obviously, I thought that a polar bear should be the ice type, and it makes me wonder that if this design was reworked into Beartic's, given Beartic's beta sprite was in the same pose. I really wanted to expand on the Aurora theme and turn those patterns into real Aurora coming off its body, and add some more colours to the Aurora too. I mean, the Aurora we're used to is typically green, isn't it? And let's face it, the purple and white sprite does look a bit washed out. Polar bears are usually depicted as these ferocious creatures, but I went with the wise tribal shaman route with this design, giving it a calm expression and trying to apply its power through its pose, and I purposely kept its eyes closed to give that vibe. So this is Aurora, the Aurora Pokemon, an ice and psychic type Pokemon and the evolved form of Snowora. Each tundra has one Aurora that leads the pack. They study the Aurora in the night sky and determine where they should lead the pack to next. The colour of the Aurora covering their body changes with its mood, or if it senses danger. I'd probably give this Pokemon the ability Snow Cloak or Forewarn. Next up is Kodamon, probably one of my favourites for its weird body shape, its goofy personality, cool inspiration, and of course, those eyes. It's inspired by mossy rocks and I think Raijins and Onis, and this one has a lot more information known about it, including dex entries where it talks about absorbing electricity through its horns. We actually know more about this mon than Snowora, as it has a dex entry and a typing, which is grass and electric, and I think it's really cool to think that they considered adding such an awesome type combo all the way back in Gen 3. Personally, I like to think that this design was reworked into Ludicolo's because of that similar body shape, and they also have that music or rhythm theme going. Plus, in the beta sprites, there was Beta Lotad and Beta Lombre already, although I think they had different names, don't quote me on that though. So for the evolution of Kodamon, I wanted to make it really Oni inspired, and pulling in those Raijin themes, I made its moss balls levitate off its body to look like the drums of a Raijin. This is Kodamon, the Oni Pokemon, a grass and electric type and the evolved form of Kodamon and the final evolution of Mossme. The balls of moss all over its body become charged with static electricity as it moves. Because of this, they begin to repel each other and float around Kodamon using electromagnetic energy. An experienced Kodamon can create powerful blasts of electricity from these moss balls. I think that the ability Chlorophyll or Static best fits this Pokemon, and this Pokemon even had its own signature move planned in the leak called Lightning Strike, which during rain would be like thunder, but then in sunny weather or normal weather it would just be a physical electric type attack, which sounds awesome. Now we have a bug type Pokemon called Bee, even though it's clearly based on a fly. But anyway, there's no information about this little cutie except that its dex spot was replaced by Wingull. There's no type, no dex entry, nothing. I quite clearly think that it's based on a fruit fly or a blue bottle. Does anyone else in the world call them blue bottles, or is it just England? I hope it's everywhere and you know what I'm talking about. But it's actually insane to think that we're now 10 generations into Pokemon and yet to see a basic fly Pokemon. For this evolution, I was really inspired by that infamous Bug and Dragon leak, which was rumoured for X and Y but turned out to be fake. This bug had me in a chokehold in 2019 and I wish that it was real so badly. So this is Fly, the fruit fly Pokemon, a bug and flying type and the evolution of Bee. This Pokemon uses its tongue to taste the scent of food in the air from hundreds of miles away. It is never satisfied and will continue to eat the food it finds, its tiny wings buzzing wildly to keep its plump body in the air. I think that the compound eyes ability fits this guy well. Next up is an evolution for Waraby, which I think is probably a fan favourite of these beta Pokemon. It's a scrapped Hoenn starter Pokemon, and don't get me wrong, I love it too, but you're going to tell me that we nearly didn't have Mudkip because of this guy? What? Yeah, I'm a big Mudkip guy. Nothing is known about Waraby, so I just had to pick out bits of its design to evolve. Its tail is obviously some kind of floaty, so I knew that that had to be the main focus of the design. I thought I'd go down the lifeguard route since, well, Hone is known for water. I can also see lifeguards being a really starter core theme, like helping people and saving people. So I made the markings around its eyes resemble sunglasses, and the markings on its body resemble shorts. Then I borrowed some of the colours from Swampert to give it little armbands. So introducing the final evolution of Waraby, which is called Rabbiraft. It's a sea rescue Pokemon and a pure water type. Rabbiraft's tail is able to fill with air to keep itself and other Pokemon afloat, even in the most treacherous of waters. It loves to help people and spends its time on beaches, keeping an eye out for danger or any people or Pokemon who come into trouble while swimming. And last but by no means least, we have probably one of my most complex designs that I've ever made. This is an evolution for Psycho Dog, and I'm being serious, that's what its Japanese name translates into. It doesn't have a proper name in the dex entries. In fact, it doesn't have a dex entry at all because it is just a prototype design. It's like a concept design from Gen 3. And let's just say, if you've ever seen them, they're all creepy. They're all weird or just downright cursed. I'd say that Psycho Dog is probably one of the most iconic because of that translucent body type and the pure psychic energy that's inside it and its wild and downright scary face. I wanted this evolution to really expand on that and make it a wild and crazed werewolf Pokemon, with that psychic energy bursting out from inside it. I personally like to think that this design was toned down and reworked into Poochyena and Mightyena. That's just my headcanon though, I've absolutely no proof of that. Although some beta sprites were found of it that looked like it had a pre-evolution too, and personally I do think they look like Poochyena. This is Neuralican, the final evolution of the Psycho Dog line. It's a psychic and dark type. Neuralican are incredibly hard to train. They are unpredictable and often act as though they're switching between different personalities. Their bodies are filled with so much psychic energy that it bursts out of its body and manifests as additional claws, which it's able to control telepathically. I hope that you all enjoyed this video and the 5 designs I created. I'm planning on doing more of these because there's just so much content to look at and speculate over. I was thinking that the Gen 1 black and white sprites could be a random sprite challenge, and maybe even evolve some of the Gen 2 Space World demo mons. As I'm recording this, there was actually a huge, and I mean huge, Gen 4 concept art dump. Maybe the beta sprites from Gen 4 and 5 could be regional variants, and I want to mega evolve some of the Gen 6 scrap mons, since X and Y introduced Mega Evolution. And then maybe I could even create some of the scrapped Alolan forms. I'm sorry for this brain dump, but if you like the sound of any of that, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!